calling all sports fans and athletes. Have you ever longed for a place to converse about your passion for sports? Hang out, talk sports, meet athletes, and be heard. Sports Chat TV. And here's your host, Brooke Brown.
Hey everybody, we are live. Welcome to Sports Chat TV. I have with me a guest, as you can see. Aaron's going to introduce himself and his familiarity with sports. And hopefully you cats out there that are watching will either join us or somehow keep the conversation going with your questions, comments, and concerns. So, let's get the show on the road, and Aaron's going to introduce himself. Welcome, Aaron.
Hi, my name's Aaron Wood. I'm a New Englander, so I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. Bruins fan. I'm kind of fly-by-night Celtics fan. I was a fan of the Celtics when I was growing up. Then I kind of got out of basketball. And I'd have to say, since the Celtics made their banner run a few years back, I kind of got back into them a little bit. And been following them for the last few years. And, and football, Patriots. Got to be Patriots. So.
Yeah, well, ironically, I'm not from there, but I'm a huge fan of New England, so eventually I'm going to live there. That's like been my life goal.
Awesome.
But yeah, having friends and family be fans since I was very young, I kind of just got grandfathered into the awesome sports thing. And welcome, Matthew Rappaport.
Oh, Matthew Rappaport.
Welcome. Introduce yourself, Matt. We're going through
Hi,
the chase.
I am Matt Rappaport. Matthew to my friends. No, Matt is good. I like sports. I like you. I like Brooke and Aaron. And my Knicks got taken out of the first round unfairly. But I do a lot of hangouts.
That's because you're a Knicks fan. Oh, just kidding. Keep going.
Oh, what is Matt Mikowski here? Or Andrew Dice Club?
Anyway.
I do stuff. I do a lot of stuff. You can find me. This is about Brooke and sports, and you guys are all into the Boston thing, right?
Yes. So if you have questions, comments, and concerns, relay them to me. Yes, I know there's other shows going on tonight, and I know we're watching the Celtics in the playoffs as we speak, but you could still tune in. It's called multitasking. Anyway, going on. So, cool headline in sports that has nothing to do with NBA. I think the coolest thing this week is that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, has decided he wants all NFL stadiums to have Wi-Fi in them so that fans can be on their devices while at the game. Thoughts, comments on this? Is this cool? Is this bad? Is it, oh crap, we're turning into the Jetsons? What's going on?
I think it's cool because I think that people, for the longest time, people have the radio broadcast. They like having that broadcast at the game. So if this gives them the commentating, and a lot of people have terrible seats. They can't see anything. So I think that'll help.
Do you think that'll take away from the game? I know now that, like, the way I am, I'm looking at a screen and another screen while I'm watching sports. Unless it's like the Super Bowl. But in terms of watching the regular season, do you think this is going to take away from the sport? Or do you think that people are going to be more involved now that they're comfortable with their devices that we so love every day?
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, but you're talking about at the game, because at the game is an experience than being away from
it. Yeah, he wants every suite, every section at a stadium, in every stadium of the league for people to be able to bring their iPads, their iPhones, their Droids, whatever.
It's
to be able to.
Really, yeah, but
it's not just like expensive box suites. I mean, they'll have it, of course, but he's talking thousands of fans on devices at the same time.
Yeah,
Good idea, bad idea.
I think the people in the box suites are going to be the ones using it, and the fans maybe, but for the most part, when you're at a game, you're drinking beer. It depends where the game is. I mean, if you're in a warm climate, but if you're a Giant stadium and you're freezing your butt off, like you're not going to get your phone out. Maybe you'll be like, I'm cold. I'm watching the game. I'm having a beer. I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's going to be the same in every stadium.
Well, what happens if this catches on within the NBA or MLB? Because MLB it's in the summer, so it's warmer games, plus it's a little slower. Not saying baseball is a horrible sport, all you baseball fans out there. What I'm saying is there are times to rest in between innings and all that cool events. Instead of watching the mascots run the bases, won't you be tweeting or posting on Google Plus or checking out other scores instead of looking at the Jumbotron? Like, do you think that'll go on to other sports, or do you think that it's just a case-by-case basis and Goodell's talking out of his ass?
I personally, well, I'm doing a ballpark tour right now, and I've done a bunch of ballparks, and one of the biggest things is they don't have Wi-Fi to me. When I go to the game and I'm there and I pull out the iPad, I take a picture of the stadium or my iPhone or whatever, and I want to post it, I got to make sure I got a good connection. Different parks have, for the most part they're okay, but I want to be sure that I'm on a nice Wi-Fi connection, my stuff is posting, but it's a double-edged sword. It's a distraction from the game. I had great seats to the Cubs, and it was like look out for fly balls and watch people's reaction to the pictures I was posting from the game. So you could get beamed in the head, or you could. That's not going to happen in basketball or in football. So I think that it's a good idea, but could be a bad idea too. And I see enough people already on their phones during the game, not even watching the game for most of it. People just texting away, and like you paid like $50-$60 to come to see these people.
Well, unless it was their date that paid, and they were just kind of there, they were dragging along.
Even still, it's like you're gonna just sit there, and are you gonna watch the game, or are you gonna type the whole time? Don't
forget, there are people that have fantasy teams, and they're really involved, and
that's why I said that. It's good and bad. It's got good connotations. It's got bad connotations. I want to be there. I want to check. And most of the baseball ballparks these days have scores for all the other games going on, so you can check your scores there. But yeah, maybe you want to update your fantasy team. And still that kind of sucks, because usually fantasy-wise, if you're at the game, your team's already locked in anyways, because once the games start, that's it.
But there are a lot of different kinds of fantasy games and trash talking.
Yeah, you play a fantasy pool, don't you?
Fantasy pool.
There's a fantasy pool? What have I been missing out all these years?
I know.
But I think that I think the world should be Wi-Fi. Everyone should be Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's a simple solution. Make Wi-Fi available everywhere you go, right. And then we don't have to worry. We don't have to have this debate. Like,
every 10 feet there should be a transmitting tower.
Yeah, I mean, there is. You might as well. Your phone picks it up. Like, you don't know what it is. Just Wi-Fi.
Just want to set a quick shout-out to the 3 viewers out there. Don't be shy. Send us a question, comment, musing. You hate the show. Whatever. I'm down. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I just thought that was interesting.
This show is wicked.
Yeah. Well, it's Wildcard. It's going to be wild. So, moving on from that, another in the headlines on the What's Hot list that I hate, but on the What's Hot list today, was Tiger Woods is going to be doing a golf hangout next week. I was in line with one of my first questions because I want to be questions, and I used the hashtag. But do you think it's cool that he's now migrated from Facebook to Google Plus, and the dude's actually trying to do something with social media as opposed to making a press conference with ESPN? I think it's awesome. I think it could do wonders for his whatever this comeback is. Yes, I use air quotes because he still really hasn't done much. And I love the dude, but he's not Tiger from 20 years ago. Just gonna say it. He's not. So, what do you think?
Has he been around that long? Do you see 20 years ago?
Well, you know what I'm saying. He started playing golf when he was at Stanford. So I'm including
Wasn't he on The Price is Right, and he made a putt shot when he was 5?
Yeah, he was on the Johnny Carson show. Tonight Show. Yeah.
Well, anyway, actual accuracy and numbers aside, do you think this is cool that I think it's cool. Accuracy and numbers aside, do you think this is?
I don't think it's the best move for him. I think doing something on ESPN would be better. If he does a hangout on Google Plus, he's going to get maybe a few thousand people watching him. But if he does a press conference on ESPN and he talks about stuff, or he sits down on 60 Minutes, or he does, I mean, it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
It can hurt.
It can hurt, depending on the question.
Just think about it. What are they gonna? I mean, he's gonna have to. Does he really want to answer questions about cheating on his wife over and over again?
It depends where he goes. Are they going to pick some softball questions when he goes to ESPN? They're probably not. I mean, but if he does a hangout, he can control the flow.
Yeah, but all the comments are going to be like about him cheating on his wife.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Well, no, actually, if you looked at the thread today, we're all asking technical golf questions, and we could care less about his personal life. Hence why I think it's really cool, and that people are taking it seriously now to get in the hangout. Now, once the hangout's going on, who's to say one of the members is not going to be like, all right, so, about your kids, or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
because there are a lot of people that don't care about golf.
But there still are a lot of people that do, and it's still one of the highest paying professional sports that are out there, specifically men. So, and I mean, there's still a lot of media after whatever Tiger's going to do, despite what's going on right now with other golfers. So, I mean, he was at one time considered the Michael Jordan of golf. So,
yeah.
When was since the incident, how many majors has he won?
One.
And how many years is that? 3? 4?
Yeah, something around there. Maybe going on 4.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is that I've heard right after this happened, I've heard a lot of family, friends, foes go, I can't stand Tiger. And they were like his biggest fan before all of it came out. My thing is personal life and what you do on the course, 2 separate things. Plus, the dude had always said he was a partier. So why...
Yeah, but
all of a sudden
cheating on your wife with like 20 different hookers is totally different.
Well, I don't know if they're all hookers, but...
Oh, let's not get specific, Matt. Come on. Okay.
Yeah, but come on, I mean...
Women, with like 20 different women. Now, correct my number. How many was it exactly?
I don't know, but the point... I think the point is if you're talking just strictly about sports, that's one thing. But the guy was a spokesman. The guy was on, like, Wheaties. The guy was endorsing things with kids. So, like, I think if you're just a sports figure, that's one thing. But when you have endorsement deals, that's kind of like the guy that was on, Fox News that maybe Obama, or the ABC guy that maybe, like, yeah, think what you want. But, you can't come out and do these things and not, that affects your reputation as a person.
Yeah.
And so that's really what it's about, Yeah,
you can't separate church and state. You can't separate public life and sports. So it doesn't happen.
Well, I get what Tiger Woods represented. Like, he represented this pristine, cut clean, I wear my hat forwards, I wear red on Sundays for Mom. He still does.
He talks about God, doesn't he, a little bit? Isn't he church-going?
He doesn't go in... he's the son of... Well, anyway. But he doesn't really go into religion. He's been a very private guy, and other than when people outright deliberately ask him a question. Because I've heard years over, he goes, when I'm not on the course, it's a totally different person. And so him saying that made me believe, well, that the dude's not perfect as he portrays perfect. So why does everybody have to turn on him based on the image that media helped him build?
Well, the guy is a billionaire, isn't he? Or a billionaire.
Built his own reputation. It wasn't like he was acquitted and not guilty of any of not crime-wise. He didn't do any crimes, per se. But he cheated on his wife. It's like, what are you going to do? Every time he hits a ball on the course or he steps out on that course or whatever, immediately everybody thinks of that, whether it was on Fox News or NBC or CBS, whatever. He's got that baggage, and he's never going to get rid of it, and that's all people are going to see, no matter.
Yeah, it's not just golf clubs in that bag.
Yeah.
So, well, in one of his previous tournaments, some fans at the tournament didn't shut up, and they were yelling stuff at him like, cheater and stuff like that.
That is different.
And he's about to putt, right? So, A, you're not supposed to say shit around in a gallery.
You just say shit.
And B, why be so crass and rude? I mean, golf is such a mental sport as it is, and he's
Maybe they
been
had
crumbling
money-
under the pressure as it is.
Maybe they
I
had
love the
money
dude,
against
but
him.
let's just be real here.
Yeah,
So
they should have respected the fact that he was playing the game at the time and not yelled that out. Hell, if they want to go and tweet or post on their
Can't
Facebook,
Tiger have them kicked out?
yeah,
no,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
can't.
No?
Not the player themselves. If
Well,
they're continued
'cause-
nuisance and they're doing it to multiple players within
Isn't it like tennis where they ask for quiet? And you
yeah,
have to
it is.
respect that?
When they're about to hit,
yeah.
it has to be quiet, and specifically around the green when they're putting. I mean, they put up quiet signs for everybody to shut up when they're getting ready to, swing a little bit. So, yeah, it is like tennis. But, I mean, tennis is still a little bit more of a leeway than golf because tennis has a stadium full of people. But, I mean, the protocol is why get on his case while he's just golfing? It's not like he's harming you by being there.
These
If you're
people
not
are
a fan, go watch another golfer.
Because these people probably mostly, I mean, I'm guessing, don't get to go see Tiger often. And so they're like, this is the one time we have to do that. I'm not saying it's their prerogative. I would do it. But like someone like Dennis Rodman, right? Dennis Rodman created a bad boy image, and that was what he represented, and that's what he was. And so, I think people think he's a hypocrite, maybe.
But think about Dennis Rodman. You're comparing kind of apples to oranges in your comparison because Dennis Rodman was a druggie and drunk. He would show up to games still hungover from partying the night before and bring down 30
But that
rebounds.
was his
He was like the
image.
best rebounder in the game.
But that's his image. People, he laid all the cards on the table right from the start. People knew.
Respecting, yeah.
People knew what his attitude was and his performance. They knew he was a great player, but they knew that he would do all this stuff. It was out in the public. To have Tiger be clean cut and all this, and then all of a sudden you see this darker side to his personality, it's like he's been keeping secrets from everybody. And that's what people aren't okay with.
Okay.
That's
Anyway,
all.
moving on from Tiger.
Okay.
In other headlines, tennis, since you brought up tennis. Is anybody out there besides me watching tennis? No? Okay, cool. So, Nadal and Djokovic are still going. So, who do you think is going to win the French Open on clay? Is it going to be Nadal or Djokovic? Or do you even know who I'm talking about?
I would
I know
have to
what
do
you're talking
some. I know Nadal. I'd have.
Is it one of them a clay? Is it Nadal that's a clay specialist?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the one that's won the last
Yeah.
3 French Opens
would
until
say
this
that.
past year when I think Federer won to complete his complete Grand Slam.
Well,
It's a
tennis
machine.
exciting. You have Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer
Federer.
in the mix of the three of them. But it'd be nice to see Andy Roddick or Andy Murray. They are always up there, but they can never get past those guys, right?
True, but Americans and some Europeans don't play on clay. It's either grass or hard court. It's just too slow for Americans. I mean, Andy Roddick, he serves on average 140 miles an hour.
Yeah, he sucks.
He's
like that.
used to that shit. But he can't serve that high on clay
Yeah.
because it absorbs the ball in physics. It's just plain physics.
I wonder if, because Andy Roddick is younger, I wonder if when Nadal, well, although Federer is the oldest of them, right? And Nadal and Djokovic maybe are around the same age. I mean, will Andy Roddick ever get to a point where those three are retired and he could actually win one? He's
I
won
don't know.
one, right?
He was number one, world number one, right before Federer became on the scene.
Yeah,
He had won
Agassi,
U.S. Open,
Sampras
had left. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and a lot of people don't watch Roland Garros, tennis, because it's clay, and they're like, oh, Nadal's gonna win. But everybody watches Wimbledon or the U.S. Open or the Australian
Well, it's
Open.
more available too, as far as like what Channel 2 doesn't get involved in French Open, do they? CBS, I mean.
No, I think it's more NBC and ESPN, which is like Wimbledon. But, oh, by the way, not sponsors out there. So, I don't know.
I don't know who's going to win. I mean, it's just interesting to watch. There's no clear-cut winners when it comes to Nadal and Djokovic. They can go either way. You know?
Now, specifically that match in what, was it U.S. Open and then the Australian Open, the final, lasted 6 hours. What other sport do you play for 6 hours straight?
Overtime NHL hockey.
Well,
I can't even tell you when the last 6-hour hockey game.
Although, no, wasn't there, when it goes into like 3 or 4 overtimes, doesn't it go like for 6 hours?
The overtimes are only 20 minutes, and so the game itself is an hour long, plus the intermissions and everything. And
wasn't there one hockey game,
baseball.
that playoff game? Oh, baseball.
Baseball does go 5 or 6 hours. Rarely.
yes, but I mean,
Yeah,
there's not as much wear and tear on your body as running around a tennis court.
Yeah,
like,
tennis.
your head
I was shocked to learn that they went like 4 hours on average for a tennis, 3-4 hours. I'm like, I thought these guys played a game in like an hour. You know.
Well, if it's not evenly matched, yeah.
Yeah, but
It could be over like this. I mean, if it's
to have a game go, 3 or 4 hours, you're constantly moving, constantly swinging your arm, diving, running, backhanding, serving.
Yeah.
It takes
but at least you're both doing it, so it's kind of
Well, it evens that out. But
I just remember the rallies between people, between them, and that was just like 20 shots before there was a point. And you're like, it was like an hour just watching a game, let alone the whole match. So it was like you couldn't not watch it, because even though it was like 2 days, it seemed like it was epic.
Oh, cricket. Cricket goes forever. That's right.
I've never really watched a cricket game. I have researched cricket.
Yeah, it's like 30, 40 hours. It's ridiculous.
Are you sure it's cricket and not croquet?
No,
croquet's over quick.
Pretty sure it's cricket. Yeah, because there'll be a match. Look it up.
I know. I was just bringing in whatever C word.
Croquet.
Croquet.
Is that even? Are there professional people, professional croquet?
I'm sure if you could be a professional curler, you've got to be. There's got to be croquet out there.
The Olympics are coming up, right?
Yep. But Summer Olympics, so that should be interesting.
Well, true.
Because I don't think you can curl in summer.
And if they have to curl in the weight.
Okay, I have our answer for our cricket. It says typically first-class cricket matches are played over 3 to 5 days.
Days, yeah.
At least 6 hours being played each day. One-day cricket matches last for 6 hours or more.
There it is, 1 day.
And there are special rules about intervals for lunch, tea, and drinks. As well as rules about when...
Oh, you get tea? Awesome.
It's British. It's a British sport. That's why they played in India and all the other colonies.
Wow.
Yeah, well...
They used to be.
I mean, rugby doesn't last that long. Not sure anybody would want it to last that long, but...
Not to get into your Celtics game, but it's halftime and they're up by 3.
Yep.
I know, but I prefer not to jinx them right now.
All right, well,
Just like I am.
Well, it's Game 6. They need to win to secure this, but I also don't want them to play Miami. Anyway, I'd rather watch the Pacers.
Indiana.
And I saw Larry Bird said that they played soft.
I know. And in the West, I want it to be Oklahoma City. I don't want it to be San Antonio.
Okay.
For the record.
I think Thunder is winning. This is my prediction. Thunder is winning the entire thing, and the Kings are winning the entire thing.
Wow.
It's all right.
Well, at least the Lakers didn't win. So...
the Rangers
they went fishing
have
the
a
other
chance, I guess.
Hey, the Clippers, I respect the Clippers this year more than I have the Lakers. So, but the Clippers are out, so.
They were about equal this year. The Lakers and Clippers were pretty equal.
Well, that's because they had Chris Paul and Chauncey Billups until Chauncey Billups got injured. And then you were like, oh, crap.
It's like, that's what happened last year.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, they can't lose.
They can lose.
Well, it can, but
are you guys going to be like annoyed at this game if it goes 7 games?
Yes, because honestly, I'm not naive to know that my team's old.
Yeah.
I want Garnett and Allen to have maybe more than just 2 days off. They're nursing injuries right now, so it's kind of like they're playing hurt.
The
already.
whole team is playing hurt. Every star is hurt in some way, it seems. Except Rondo. Rondo doesn't seem to be...
yeah, but I mean, as much as I hate the Heat, I mean, I would love to see the Heat lose 2 years in a row in the finals. That's just awesome.
Yes, but at the same time, the Heat are overrated anyway.
It's hard to say they're overrated.
As evident by LeBron's choking. So,
but it's hard to say they're overrated. Didn't they win the last game by like 30-some points, and Pacers were winning that game?
yeah, but
For some reason, the Heat like to play in the fourth quarter, and in the second half, like they kind of sleep in the first half.
well, did they have Chris Bosh back? I didn't get to watch the whole game.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Because if he was back, well, that's him and Wade did it with Haslam and the others, backing him up. However, I don't really think it was LeBron's show. Anyway.
Not to switch to basketball. You're talking about tennis.
Well, no, we could be done with tennis. I was just saying, in other words, and the other headline right now is that the New Jersey Nets are no longer in Jersey. They're Brooklyn now.
Yes, they are. And have you seen the new logo? And
yeah, they're around here on Google Plus, I've noticed.
You know,
I mean, if you have Jay-Z as an owner, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I've driven past the arena a bunch of times. It is like it's going to be a traffic jam from hell in that area. Like when the Nets play, they already have like concerts scheduled for that new arena in Brooklyn.
Probably.
So, yeah, Jay-Z's probably performing.
Why not? You do basically for free.
Now it doesn't mean the Nets the Nets can't get better because they crossed the Hudson. Okay, let's be clear.
Well, they have a long rebuilding saga to continue. Let's just.
You know what I'm interested in? I'm interested in the people that are Knicks fans. Will people that live in Brooklyn all of a sudden not be Knicks fans and be Nets fans? Do you think that'll happen?
No.
Wow.
Because just because expansion teams move and stuff. I mean, think about when when the Thunder won the other night. A lot of people in Seattle were like, "Oh yeah, our Supersonics won," because they were the Seattle Supersonics and they moved to Oklahoma.
They're not changing the name.
And whatever your allegiance, whatever your allegiance is to whatever team, just because they moved doesn't necessarily mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The Brooklyn Dodgers moved to L.A. and I don't think people were too happy.
Yeah,
Giants.
Yeah. It's hit or miss. It depends on what terms. Well, nobody likes to see their team leave, but it all depends on where the team goes. If it goes to a hated area, like all the way across the country, it hurts.
Yeah, although I think it hurts more though if it's like New Jersey to Brooklyn. That's more painful. Because it's right there. You're like, have the Nets ever even won a championship? No, right?
No, they've gone to the finals back when Jason Kidd was on the team. But they never converted because shit happens. Anyway, back to hockey since that's going on too. I was surprised that, being that I live in Arizona, that the Coyotes actually were good this season because they were on the brink of leaving our state. And all of a sudden we were good. Like they were like, "Oh crap, we better be good, or we have to move to like colder climate." So, what was up with that? And I also thought about Arizona bandwagon fans. They're like, "I've been a hockey fan my whole life." Bullshit. No,
they actually were. I have an AHL team here, Springfield Falcons. They were the farm team for the Coyotes a few years back, and they did nothing for the Falcons at all. Typical case of a kind of a poor NHL team that poaches all the good talent all the time from the AHL team, calls it up. So the AHL team, of course, does poorly.
Well, where I'm currently sitting, there's a CHL team here called the Sundogs because they couldn't think of any cooler of a mascot. But anyway, they're not really doing so hot themselves. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that the Coyotes have done well over the last few years, so they should just move. This season they did get pretty far into the playoffs.
They're pretty good this year, yeah.
They need to send them back to a market that lost its team. Like I know Minnesota got their team back. They lost the North Stars. Hartford needs a team back. We need more.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of Hartford diehard Hartford Whaler fans.
There are,
out there.
And Canada, the Nordiques, they they lost their team.
But Winnipeg got their team back, so
Winnipeg did get their team back,
surprising.
which was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, hockey is a Canadian sport. I love it, but it needs to have some more roots, I think, in its home territory.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it still has that vibe, but I think the NHL was like, if we put teams where no team would go.
Like they're like Islanders. My Islanders for the longest time have been rumored to move to Kansas City. Really?
Oh my God.
People want to watch hockey in Kansas City.
No,
Well, I mean, what's with the Kings? I mean, they're kicking ass right now, but
Well, the Kings had a lot
LA?
of former Flyers though that were really
Well,
good.
the Kings have been around for a long
They have a
time.
really good goalie.
I don't know. I guess I'm just peeved because the Bruins lost.
Yeah, I'm peeved too.
Didn't you guys have one year with Boston won like everything?
They won it last year. Yeah, we were the defending Cup champions, but
Right. You
Well,
almost
no,
won everything.
but the Celtics didn't win last year, so it
No.
wasn't really a
New England
whole
almost
Boston.
won, but
in
they had to
in
play
the
the
last
Giants.
decade, Matt, all of our pro sports teams, except soccer or whatever, have won.
Soccer.
Yeah, MLS, man, MLS. Anybody know
Yeah.
that? Nobody knows it exists,
New
They
England,
know it exists. They just don't care.
yeah.
which is funny because it's that sport that everybody grows up playing at least once.
Yeah, but we care. I think Americans care more about like what happens in like Europe and other leagues than here. Like,
Which is why I think David Beckham going to LA Galaxy was like kind of in a way it backfired. I know they won this past year, but at the same time it's like it didn't increase
people
the
care about
popularity.
like Barcelona and Manchester United.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's cool and hip to follow those European community type teams.
That's because more people get trampled at a match
Oh,
in Europe.
that was so nice. I'm sorry, I'm watching the game. So nice.
Just tell me when Boston hits some 3-pointers this quarter, because that's what I need them to do.
Okay. Do you have a fantasy team, Matt?
No, but what I do this streak thing on ESPN, and I chose who'll hit more 3-pointers in the third quarter, Boston or Philly.
Okay.
And there was only one 3-pointer hit in the first half. Is that crazy?
Yeah, I think both teams are playing some massive D and aren't letting anything go unless.
Well, I mean, Ray Allen, let's face it, he has bone spurs in his ankle.
yeah.
We talked about the injury. Yeah, the dude's like playing with shredded bone in his ankle. And they've been trying to shut him down all game, so Ray Allen hasn't gotten his touch yet. But it'll come. He's resting at the moment, but no, he's in right now.
He's in, yeah.
But
This is going to be a hard-won game. It's only 6 points in the third, 6-point difference, but...
it's a low-scoring game anyway. I mean...
Yeah. Just pick that right up. 4 points now, kids. 4 points. Now, we're not allowed to broadcast this game live since there's a hangout on air, so we can just talk about it.
Well, no, but you know what? When during football, I mean, I was doing some like while the playoffs were going on, football playoffs, and I was just like, they scored this or that. I mean, like,
No, you can do that. You just can't broadcast the game. You can't show the.
You can't broadcast the actual game.
Oh, welcome aboard, Ralph. Welcome aboard.
Hello, Ralph.
Matt and Aaron, meet Ralph. Ralph, meet Matt and Aaron.
How's it going?
Matt and Aaron, what's going on, guys?
Not much. Just
I'm going to be in and out because I'm... Okay. All right. I'm going to be in and out because I didn't get a chance to eat. So I'm like trying to cook and chat.
No, you're not allowed to eat when you're on my show.
Once you're here for good.
Gotcha.
There's no leave.
Oh, man.
So Ralph was on my pilot. It's been a while. We were talking some NBA, and we're currently watching the playoffs and talking randomly because it's wild. It's the Wildcard show.
Wildcard.
Hey, you mentioned Major League Soccer. And you mentioned Galaxy. There actually is a game, the Earthquakes versus the Galaxy.
I know they're playing right now, but my point was that...
Or later they're playing.
Oh, they're playing later. Okay.
Yeah. I was wondering, do you think Galaxy have that, or Earthquake's going to surprise them at home? How could their name be the San Jose Earthquakes, first of all? That is a terrible
But
thing.
they're playing the Galaxy. Like, I honestly, I've never even understood NBA. Like, what is a pacer against a Heat?
Well,
and like,
I got you. Yeah.
And it's Miami.
We know the Indians, the name.
yeah.
Well, that's a terrible name, though, Miami Heat. I think they could do something. When they first came out, I thought they were going to do something that was going to be, like, kind of Cubano-related. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Well, who's scared of a dolphin?
Culture is not that good, but you know
Miami is terrible names. Marlin, dolphin. Those aren't competitive animals.
Competitive animals?
Yeah, competitive animals. Yeah, not like the killer whales.
Right.
So they should be the Miami Whales, or like Aaron said,
Right.
or
The Sharks.
Miami.
Well, you got the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
San Jose.
The
Why does
Manatees.
San Jose have sharks?
Yeah.
San Jose has sharks in that area? Where did that come from? Just the S?
I don't know. They tied it up, by the way.
Probably.
It's 41-41 now.
I know, but see,
Does the basketball score even matter except for the last 10 seconds?
Yeah, Celtics need to pull away. We need a 12-point difference going into the fourth.
Wow.
It's true.
Well, you got it down to a science, 12 points, huh?
Yeah. Although it didn't
In
help
that
them the
one
other
game-
night when they ended up losing.
the one game when they were ahead by 30.
Yeah.
As well, I loved it. It was also like, what's the point of watching?
Is that the one that they blew?
No, the
No,
one
no,
they
no.
blew, they started out strong. They were up by like
Yeah.
15 or something, and then they blew it.
Oh, and I find it funny that they like honored Allen Iverson tonight before the game. I'm like, dude hasn't been relevant since practice. The practice game.
It's always nice to give a little shout out, you know.
Right.
Oh, this is killing me.
But the dude's like in. He's not in a suite. He's in like the nosebleeds. I'm like, dude, play for the Sixers. Give him something. You can
Really?
honor
They
him.
didn't even put him in some good seats, huh?
No, because like Lisa Salters in the fourth quarter went up to interview him, and she had to like go up way up in BFE to, and it was very dark and like.
Oh man.
Where did Iverson, was he playing for, what team?
He played for the 76ers.
What did Iverson, what team did they get? No, after that, they got rid of him. Where, Denver? No, where did he go?
Yeah, the Nuggets.
No.
Did he play for another team
come
for like,
on. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's killing me. Celtics are being sloppy right now.
so let me ask you guys, since I'm a Knicks fan, I'm going to be selfish here. What do the Knicks have, so that everyone talks about Amari and Anthony playing together, and then Lynn is a ball hog, and, you know, how do they, the Knicks have any way to make it happen, like to get out of the first round, not play the Heat, right? Is that?
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Well, actually, let me answer that first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to answer before because I gotta step away for a second. They just have to learn how to play together. That's all. I mean, they probably have to go. You know, training camp. They have to do probably training camp squared, where they actually are in training camp together, hanging out, doing stuff, and then getting on the floor for practice and actually working together and getting some things done. Other than that, it's not going to happen because each of them are. Amari Stoudemire was from Phoenix, and he had his game, and his team was focused around him. And Melo was focused. They had the team focused around him in Denver. And you have somebody like Jeremy Lin, who is a decent ball distributor, and none of those guys really know how to work with a guy who can move the team around like he can. So it's gonna be interesting.
It seems to me like
I don't know
Carmelo
if they can
tries
do
to
it.
be a point guard. Is it me, or does Carmelo always
he's a
bring up
point-
the ball like he's the point guard?
The point forward, a la Grant Hill.
Oh,
But yes.
Yeah, I know.
The point, yeah.
It's ball.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. I mean, I see him bring up the ball. I'm like, well, I have a point guard. Like what?
Well, what I was going
Right.
to say is, Linsanity aside, when Jeremy Lin was in, for those that streak, and Melo and
Right.
Amari were out, they actually played like a team. So the piggyback off what Rob just said, that's why they went on a streak of wins. It wasn't just because he threw up 30 and had
Right.
30 rebounds. No, it was because his drive to win the game just to play, because he's been trying to get in the league for so long, made his team better.
Right. And Fields played ridiculous during that time too. So.
Yeah. So
maybe
I'm sorry.
there's pressure. Is there pressure on other players because of Anthony Stoudemire? Like they're like, we can't play our game because they're here. You think?
I don't know. I think it's a lot to do with egos. The reason why the Heat don't mesh is because you got LeBron, you got Wade, you got Bosh. They all have huge, big-headed egos, just like Kobe.
But they win.
Yeah.
They do.
But they win on technicalities. I mean, how many times in the playoffs have you seen any of these players whine for a foul?
Yeah, and I don't understand. Yeah, I think the last game, like LeBron was whining for a technical and he got it. Like how does that work? Are they paid off? Like what?
Well, that's been the debate for years, is if, especially in playoff situations, are the refs paid off to extend series to make
the refs don't, not only extend series but control who wins. I mean, obviously sometimes they can't, but they can definitely give a lot of gift points.
I don't know. That would have come to light a long time ago, I think, if something like that was going on.
I don't know. Sometimes when I'm watching the Celtics and they're being reffed by Joe Crawford, he calls some of the weirdest fouls on Garnett, and I'm just like, that wasn't a foul. The dude tripped over himself. Let it go. Although Joe Crawford has been like a ref for the NBA for like 30 years, still, it's a little suspect when I'm watching the games. Then again, I'm a huge Celtics fan. So
yeah,
it's that whole, am I more than a fan?
Yeah, I definitely could never be a sports announcer because I'd never have an unbiased opinion, and I don't know how people do it. You know, listening to a Red Sox game.
Oh, if you were getting paid,
sports.
oh come on! I think if you were getting paid, you would man up. No.
I don't know. I think it would be really tough not to.
Well, then you could be an announcer for the Red Sox, and that way you can be.
Yeah, but even still, you're supposed to be a little bit, because I've heard people that, when a home run's hit by the opposite team, they're like, they put a lot of emphasis into it. Then I've heard people who are just like, there's another one out of the park. And I don't think they want that. They want, they don't want the disappointment. They want to hear a good game called for both sides.
I don't know.
Team, but
the NBA and ESPN has let Jeff Van Gundy be, and he is the biggest caller of Lakers and Miami Heat, I think, in recent years of commentating. I mean, you get classic guys like Marv Albert and Steve Kerr,
yes,
Mike Breen.
Yeah.
But then you have Jeff Van Gundy go, oh my God, I love the Lakers, and he says it a lot, and you're like, get over it, man. Are they, like, paying you? Are you getting sexual favors? Like, what's the deal? Like,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm listening to him going, there is another team on the court.
Yeah, I get that all the time when they do Yankees, Red Sox, or anything that's nationally televised for the Sox, and I think it's Tim Carver or whatever is announcing, and he hates any New England team, it seems, and just pours everything into it when they start losing.
Well, I think he was a longtime Mets announcer, too.
Yeah, that could be it, too. Yeah, that could be it.
Not to keep harping on the NBA, but what do you think Michael Jordan has to do to actually make the Bobcats relevant and people actually know he owns them? Because they're like the worst team ever.
Change the logo to his head.
Yeah.
I mean, for being one of the best players ever to having the worst team ever.
He could suit up. Again.
Yeah. He might have to work how it's working that way. Look, Bird.
Yeah, but Bird owns the Pacers right now, or general manager of the Pacers, and they're doing well.
Yeah, but they haven't always done well. Just because you're a good player doesn't mean your team's going to do good. Yeah, it does take time. Look at Gretzky. Wasn't he coaching the Coyotes for a while? He was owner of the Coyotes.
Well, he coached and he was one of those, but that didn't work out well. He left. He's like, all right.
Thomas, look how great that was for us, right?
Well, yeah. But, I mean, now people are starting to think that Spoelstra needs to go, who's coaching the Heat, and that Pat Riley needs to come down and be a coach.
He's a terrible
Is it
coach.
really about the? I don't know. I think these
terrible
players are spoiled rotten, and I think that they want. Like, I really think the
Right.
Knicks. Look at the Knicks, right? I don't think that when they changed the coach, it just seemed a little crazy. Like all of a sudden, this coach is so amazing. He's never really been a coach, I don't think. I don't know his history, and all of a sudden, like they went from a losing record to a winning record. Just seemed kind of like the players play for who they want to play for. And
Well, I mean,
babies.
perfect example.
Well, that's part of it.
The my semi-beloved Phoenix Suns. I love Steve Nash. Respect the dude. Does great in Arizona. Great for the community. Worst thing is that he has nobody around him to get to the playoffs. I mean, even before the end of the season, Steve Nash even tweeted on Twitter, he's like, my team sucks. And, like, when you have that problem, and when D'Antoni was the coach before he went to New York, the reason that didn't work out is because Nash couldn't get along with D'Antoni. So maybe that's what's going on in New York. You never know. Sometimes players don't want to play for certain coaches.
Oh, they don't. They definitely don't.
Yeah, Latrell Sprewell had that problem, didn't he?
No, that's pretty
Oh
well.
my god, yeah, that was great.
He
I haven't
choked
heard
too.
that name for a while.
I wonder what he's doing. What?
Well, I mean, after Iverson's practice rant, who wants to play with him? Because he doesn't need to practice. Why are we talking about practice?
Mm.
I don't think I've ever heard the word practice more in a 5-minute clip than that.
Playoffs?
That was the best rant. The best rant was Jim Moore. Playoffs. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? Playoffs? That was great.
Have you seen our team? So wait, have you
And then,
addressed
then
all?
you have Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, have you? I was gonna talk about addressing these other like these sports figures that have HOA and some of the Google Plus sports figures like players that have accounts and stuff. But you can talk about more rants. That's probably better.
Oh no. Go ahead.
Well,
no,
I mean,
that's
they're,
good. No,
they-
we're on Google Plus, but that's good.
there are players that have accounts. Do they use them? Carmelo Anthony posted today.
There was a guy.
Chris Paul has it.
There was the guy on the Lions that
Chris
was doing
Paul.
some HOAs. Chris Paul, is that who?
No,
No.
Chris Paul's CP3 is.
He's CP3. No, Chris something. Chris of the Lions. He was doing some during the playoffs. He was doing commentating with regular people. I forgot his name. Anyway, he was on the SUL. So have you looked at the sports suggested user list and what you thought of like the people that were on it, or?
It's more teams than it is people, which is kind of why I like
Organizations,
that
people.
list, because there's not a competition to be on it, because they're all included.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to find someone that's an athlete that's unknown on Google Plus.
I mean, I know in before the lockout, no, right as the lockout ended and it was media day, the Dallas Mavericks hung out from their locker room, and I was in on that hangout, but they haven't done it since. So
Probably didn't get enough engagement. I don't know.
Honestly, there was engagement, but I just think there
enough
sports
engagement,
world-
I said. Enough engagement. Of course, there were people that showed up. You were there, but
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to hold a hangout and only 10 people watch it, then what the hell, you know?
Well,
I
I
think-
think also
Oh, go ahead.
the sports world is just not used to Google Plus yet. They don't know what they can do with Google Plus, which is sad because Twitter has a limit of characters.
But that's what sports people want to do. They want to do 140 characters, like, ready to go kick some ass. They don't want to sit down and write a blog post, you know, and then they can just throw the 140 characters out there. And I think that Twitter has this certain kind of, I mean, I barely use it myself, but I think it's got this kind of, like, drama that you can instill in just these 140 characters. You know, when you sit down and you write a big, long rant, everybody's like, too long, didn't read, you know, whatever, stop whining. But when you make a post on Twitter, it's just this short little thing, and it gets your point across, like, boom, right there. You have to think about it, you know, and just condense it into this little thought and shoot it out there, rather than sit down for a day and compose this huge, long thing about how you're feeling. You know, some of these games, like before the games, just want to shoot something out real quick. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do that on Facebook or on Google Plus also, but I think Twitter really does appeal to the athlete because it's fast-paced and they can just throw little snippets out there.
Which is cool, and I've been on Twitter from the beginning, and I'm huge on sports in there. But the reason I do the show is because I feel that, okay, you can watch ESPN or whatever channel, but there's still that stigma between they're the athletes and we're the fans.
Yeah.
Now, what Hangouts can do is show that they play a sport and we're fans and they're normal people, not necessarily put them on that pedestal of, I make $50 million a game, and
yeah. I don't think a lot of pro people want to deal with us. They don't want to deal with the rabid fans. They don't want to deal with the people who have opinions because, you know, they're going to ask them the uncomfortable questions. Why?
Unless we're talking about our test, what?
Yeah.
Well, he's still on our test.
Oh,
he's not living up to that Meta World Peace name at all.
Yeah.
I mean, flagrant foul the other night. Yes, to me it was a flagrant foul. I know that.
Flagrant foul. And Hangouts are tough because you put this person down in front of a group of people and you expect them to stay there for a certain amount of time. Like, oh, we're going to do a Hangout with you for an hour, you know, and that person's got to sit there for an hour and answer questions. It might be good, too. You know, some of these stars do want to sit down. They do want to talk to the fans. I know a lot of people on the Red Sox are, you know, really love the fans. And even I've seen on Nesson, they've been pimping their Google Plus page out, you know, so there are teams and there are fans that are a little bit more involved in the community, and then there's teams and players that just don't want anything to do. They just want to have their franchise or they just want to play their games. Yeah, it's like anything, you know. The core group of users.
But they can't have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, well, some people can. When you're getting paid how many millions of dollars, you can have.
Yeah, but you got to remember.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a fan of those who are getting paid the most. I'm a fan of who's skilled and actually has a personality and doesn't look at me like I'm a peon. I mean, let's be real here.
Me too. Me too.
Like, yeah, I've been making jokes, but it shouldn't be a surprise to you by now that I'm not a Kobe Bryant fan.
Yeah.
And in terms of the reason, and it has nothing to do with the personal life, whatever. I mean, athletes do it.
You separated that, yeah.
What it has to do with the fact that, okay, I can shoot a jump shot, I can make these clutch free throws, I can make a clutch jumper from 21 feet, but does that mean I'm the best player? No. It just means you have the ball in your hand all the time, and you can score that 30, 40 points a game. I mean, I call them the LA Kobe Bryants. Are they really a team without Kobe?
They got a few other people, but not of that caliber. You know, he's there. It's like a pitcher in baseball. You're the ace. You're there to run the show, pretty much. But, you know, there's good pitchers, there's bad pitchers, there's good hitters, there's bad hitters, there's good quarterbacks, there's bad quarterbacks.
Right.
You know, so he's their franchise player. Kobe is the face of the team, you know. Every team wants that one player. If you can get 2 or 3, all the better for your franchise. But
I just think that the media focus on how well he tied his shoe is a little much.
Well, that is a little much, you know, and that's the media's fault more than it is the team's fault. The media's going to bust in on everything that, you know, and down to the microscopic little thing, what they had for breakfast, if they, you know, if they could get headlines out of it. But I think one other reason why teams and players don't do hangouts is the timing. Okay, you figure most people are home in front of their computer when? In the evening. When are these people playing? In the evening. So they can't do it then.
But I'm talking like now, off-season.
Well, no, off-season, nobody cares about that, and the players want to go do their own thing. They just did their job. It's like school teachers want the summer off. They don't want to go back to the school for the summer and do more stuff. I'm not saying that there are people that would do it on the off season, and there are times, you know, if the team has an off day, but usually on the off days, teams are practicing, or the players are practicing, or they just need a day off. It's timing. You know, I've noticed a lot of the bigger name stars that have done Hangouts have done it in the afternoon. You know, when was Obama's? Obama's was what?
Mid-morning, afternoon.
Mid-morning,
Well, I guess
afternoon.
it depends on
I
your.
thought it was at
time
night.
zone,
Obama's wasn't at night?
I
No.
thought it was, no, it was
No,
in the
because I remember
No, I
getting
think
on
so.
and watching it live, and it was like noon my time.
Yeah.
Conan
So it
was
was
at
like-
night now, right? Like,
Yeah.
Conan was at night, yeah. But you got to think about it from the perspective of what he does versus what the president does. It's all about timing. But the best thing is because it's Hangouts on air, they're recorded. You can
Yeah,
go back
it doesn't
and
have to be
watch
live.
again. Yeah.
And also,
But I think the mystique about a Hangout is it being live. You know, we're talking about this live, and people hopefully are watching us.
Yeah,
You know,
3 viewers. Anyway.
Yeah.
wow.
So
It'll get
it's that whole I'm watching the president speak live or I'm watching Conan speak live, as opposed to I just went back and watched the interview. Yeah, you know, I can fast forward.
Although sometimes you can watch a hand on air recorded and it feels live, you know, even though it was
Yeah.
recorded.
Well, Matt, you're a special case because you do shows, you know, and a lot of your things is, you know, I've got this body of work. You can go back and hey, if you miss stuff, go back and catch it later, you know. But when you have a star for that one night, that one moment, you
Right.
want people there. You want the
Just
live.
Oh my God.
That's
I'm a star.
You're a star.
Okay,
Wow.
now Aaron's voting. It's a little scary. Well, I don't know. I mean, we're almost on our first birthday, Google Plus. So maybe second or third year's a charm.
Look, every
We'll
time
see.
they do a
It's like
hangout
the
commercial,
Facebook IPO.
that's it.
It's
No,
doing that.
yeah, but look, every time
Yeah,
Google
but-
Plus does a commercial, especially a hangout commercial,
No, but
That's like
the
the
new
one you
commercial
saw.
out, I watched it last night 3 times. For
What's
once,
the new
Google
one?
Plus didn't make it vague or confusing.
Oh, I have to watch this.
They
one 'cause
actually
every
explained themselves.
Really?
I mean, they had the
Well, I've seen the
Muppets, so
Muppet
you're
one.
assuming that the Muppets are going to be on here, but they still like explained it more than just this is a hangout. Google Plus.
And now, wait, it's another
Wait,
Muppet
you're
one?
talking about are you talking about the Muppets? Because Muppets is an old commercial.
Not just Muppets,
Muppets.
Muppets, but it had Muppets in there for like a
Oh.
second. They actually
Okay.
explained.
The
Okay.
Muppets.
The Muppets.
Or the
We can't.
Muppets.
Since it's a hangout on air, we can't use the Muppets.
You
or
can
we'll get
say
sued.
Muppets, whatever.
Can we say Rappaports? The Rappaports instead. The
No,
Rappaports.
I've already started suing you with my Google private class.
Just a little bit.
Guys, I gotta get out of here. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, Ralph.
60-56.
All right, take it easy.
Celtics
Yeah,
are losing at the end of the third.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
and
give
the
it-
Sixers
okay,
hit a
that's-
3. No, not fair. The Sixers hit the 3. Man,
Yeah.
I just lost my streak. You know.
Mhm.
Anywho. Okay. Back to NFL.
Back to
Take
NFL.
it. All right.
Mm. Yes.
Wait, you're going to bet on MLS? Ah, joke. So, I saw a headline last night, or was it yesterday? CBS Sports is like, Peyton Manning, he's a Bronco. Are they going to make the playoffs? Really? Are we making that prediction this
Oh, already?
Yeah. Like, I know he's a veteran quarterback, but new teams...
They're digging for headlines, of course, because, you know, and he's another guy who's under a microscope, like Kobe is. You know, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Then the Colts let him go, and he's got to make a decision, so he finds a team, and yeah, everybody's going to jump all over is he going to do well in his new environment? Is he not going to do well? And hell, as a New England fan, as a Patriots fan, I'm watching him too because I really want him to fail. no love here, but you know, everybody's going to watch and see how he does, and the predictions are going to be probably more so there than any other team. How well they're going to do, it's going to be all on Peyton this year. You're going to see stories all year long.
Well, I mean, if it's not Peyton, then it's Tebow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Like,
Well,
I mean,
Tebow
I
is
have
an
respect
underdog.
for Peyton,
Yeah.
but none for Tebow. I'm sorry.
Why don't you have any respect for Tebow?
I'm not a Tebow fan, and I was never on the bandwagon. I didn't even like him when he was a Gator. I
Okay.
mean, it's that whole overratedness and the not coming through gets to me. Like, if you're going to focus on a player, they need to have the skills to back it up.
Well, he did do a nice little march there at the end. They did win some games.
But that's because he was praying every game.
He's using the God power.
I mean...
He's untested. I would still say he's pretty untested. He stepped up. But he needs to go a whole season and really show what he can do. And he did kind of choke at the end last time. But I mean,
if you're really a soon-to-be Hall of Fame player, even though it's your first season or second or whatever, you would think his performance would be a little bit better.
Oh, of course.
I know he wasn't on the best team.
Yeah, that's what they say had a lot to do with it too. Is look at who he's playing with, but still, isn't a good quarterback supposed to rally the troops, make them better? Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm a Brady fan, but that's what Tom Brady's done. I mean,
I know.
He gets pissed when he goes out there and he wastes a down. I mean, come on, that's what a quarterback's supposed to do, whether you love him or hate him.
You're the captain of the team. You're supposed to step up, and you're the one calling the shots. You're calling the plays. Well, I mean, the guys on the sidelines pretty much are, but you're there to be the general of the team, to take command.
I mean, in the last season of Kurt Warner's career, when he played in the Cardinals, I mean, he had Fitzgerald. Now, that was about it.
Yep.
And yet, I mean, not to say that the other players didn't help. I'm not trying to put all that. But what I'm saying is he rallied the Cardinals to be known and get them to the Super Bowl. And they barely lost to the Steelers. Barely.
Yeah.
So, and then he was like, all right, I'm going to retire. My work here is done. But what I'm saying is at least he was a respectful enough quarterback to be respected by his player. What? Food porn? Wait, what?
Mixing tuna and mayo so I can have something eat.
Oh, nice. I love tuna and mayo. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's called tuna fish.
Do you use Hellman's? Uh-oh.
Salad.
Freezes. Do you use Hellman's, Matt, or is it Miracle Whip, or what do you do for your mayo?
I honestly don't know what kind of mayo it is. I don't remember what kind of mayo it is. I'll have any mayo. It doesn't really matter. I'm not picky.
No, but Miracle Whip, okay, this is not a sports topic for 3 viewers.
Yes! It should be a salad dressing.
It's a salad dressing, but it'll always be mayo to me. Because when you're a kid...
Best foods.
It'll always be mayo to me.
To me, exactly. I hate this game. They're down by 5. This is killing me.
I told you it's going to 7 games. They're going to blow this. Sorry.
They're going to go 7 games.
Stop watching every 5 seconds and freaking me out.
You're freaking me out, man.
I'm going to shut it off there. I just shut it off.
Can we talk about how the Phillies kind of suck this year?
The Phillies are doing okay, aren't they?
They won tonight. What are you talking about?
The Mets and the Nationals had a better record. No.
Well, the best record in baseball right now is the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Yeah. Or the Dollars.
The Dollars.
I don't want to get copyright infringement. I mean, we are live.
No. Listen, I have to say something. When I went live on air, I was all like, "Oh my God, I can't show anything. I can't say anything." And then you realize, you know what? You can. It's really about the music, and it's really about they actually have stuff in place to shut you down if you do that. You can. You're allowed. It's fair use to say.
Yeah.
You don't have to change the name of a team.
It was a joke.
Oh, I thought you were saying no.
Actually, Philly is tanking. They're 22 and 23. They're below 500.
But did they win tonight?
They have 1-1. Their streak is 1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they beat the Nationals tonight.
The funny thing is though even though they have a sub 500 percentage, they're still only 4.5 games back. That division is pretty tight. So.
Anyway, what are a Red Sox got to do to stop playing ridiculous?
Get some better pitching.
What about Valentine? Is he a good idea or a bad one?
I think he's a
I miss
neutral.
Theo Epstein, and I miss.
I love how
Very.
everything ties back to my teams. Bobby Valentine. I spent a couple of.
No, because
Yes,
everybody's
man.
always gonna. If you're a Yankee fan or whatever, everybody's always gonna downplay the Sox like last year of the meltdown.
No, but I'm a Mets fan, and Bobby Valentine led us to our last World Series, which we lost to the Yankees
Yeah.
in 2000.
No, I'm not
It's,
saying he's bad. I just think it's funny that Kurt Schilling will
He's
get on.
funny. Bobby Valentine is entertaining. He says it like it is, and
Yep.
I think he's pretty good. But you gotta admit, he's an entertaining guy. Like what did he like flip off? Didn't he tap his cap at the fans when they were booing him? That was awesome.
Yeah.
I know you can't do that, but it was pretty funny. I mean,
I think he was a neutral. He's neutral. He's not good and he's not bad. He hasn't done anything to really wow me yet, as far as.
but he can't hit for them.
No,
Like,
I'm not. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that they threw him into this terrible situation. A terrible situation. The clubhouse was a mess, and you bring this guy in that's no nonsense, but still you got to deal with all these prima donnas that have attitude problems, and then you got to deal with players who are there to listen and to play the game. So I think he's take charge, but not enough. I think he should, because he's entertaining, Matt. I think he's kind of like, I'm here for the show. I'll call the shots.
And the money.
But what they need is somebody who really calls the shots, but isn't entertaining and is just there to be a jerk and to turn the game around. But even still, that can't stop people from playing badly. You have a pitcher that goes out there and by the second inning is giving up 7 runs. That's not the manager's fault.
So what do you guys So right now, if you were just going to throw it out there, you think Dodgers, Rangers, who's in the World Series?
Ooh.
Oh, too hard to call. Dodgers, yeah, they may be leading, but are we even
Wouldn't that be funny if
halfway
it was
through
like
yet?
the Nationals, Rangers? It'd be like all red and white.
Oh, that would be cool.
Nationals.
Hey, I'm down for seeing teams that haven't been there and.
Well, Nationals are
Forever.
a expansion. So
Baltimore's ripping it up too. I mean,
Yeah, Orioles are playing well.
they are
That would-
playing well.
that'd be like a Metro series, right? If it was Baltimore versus Washington.
Oh yeah, that totally would be like like a Subway series there.
So yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Funny.
I mean, of course, it's nice that the Red Sox. It would be nice if they won another World Series, but I want to see the Cubs win. I really do. Have you guys seen the faux commercial that they made up for one of the video game, baseball, whatever, and they had the Cubs win?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, look it up on YouTube. It's just, look for Cubs win World Series.
So you're not a
video
White
game.
Sox fan? No? Yes?
I'm not a White Sox fan. No, actually,
Look at
my
that.
girlfriend's a Cubby fan. So when we went to Wrigley, I actually bought a Cubby shirt, and I figure, hey, if I'm gonna root for an NL team, I'll root for the Cubs. You got a team that hasn't won in longer than the Sox did, so throw them in there.
I mean, look at the drought. I mean, I miss the Arizona Diamondbacks of 2001 when they won.
Arizona's decent this year, aren't they?
Well, they're decent, but have they won?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Nobody
they don't
can
have Randy
out.
Johnson.
And they don't have Randy, Kurt, Tony Womack, Reggie. Forgot his name. Anyway, at the moment.
Part of
But-
the problem is teams win these years, and then they can't pull back the same team. I mean, the Celtics have tried. They've tried pulling back the same team, but in baseball, it's a lot different. A lot of the players seem to be dealt out, or they, want to be traded, or they just retire after they win. It's a lot different in baseball. It's tough to repeat in baseball year after year.
Oh, I
especially
know,
on a game.
because everybody. What I kind of was sarcasm because
Well,
they were
two
all
teams.
old and they either were already going somewhere because Kurt Schilling then went to the Red Sox and the Red Sox won at the bloody
Mhm.
sock, and that
The
was
bloody sock.
epic.
I've seen that in Cooperstown. I've seen the bloody sock.
The two teams I hate the most are the two teams in the last 20 years that have been pretty consistent, the Braves and the Yankees. They both have made it to the series. And
Yeah,
the Braves,
but you got to admit the Yankees don't have the pizzazz because
They have
Steinbrenner
money.
has passed away. They don't have their original manager, and a lot of their players have retired. They only have Jeter and A-Rod.
you're talking about the dude that slept on the bench? Yeah, Brave.
Well, they
Who do
still
you
don't have the
think- who do you
pizzazz.
think? Who do you think won the most championships and did the least? Joe Torre or Phil Jackson? They both like.
But you got to remember, Phil Jackson was zen. He was zen.
He's like, I have a team with Jordan. What do I have to do? Oh, here, get the ball to Michael. Get the ball to Michael. How many times did he say, get the ball to Michael? Like, that was his coaching. Like, how hard is that?
Yeah, but I prefer Phil Jackson's Bulls than Phil Jackson's Lakers.
I think everybody prefers Phil Jackson's Bulls to the Lakers. Although you have to admit, Phil Jackson did take... How many times did Phil win with the Lakers? 3? 2? 3?
3.
3.
Yeah. And now he's fully retired, right?
Well, yeah, but now the rumors have been that the Knicks want him as a coach. Oh, dear.
Well, he was a Knicks, so that would actually make a little bit more sense than...
There you go.
And then actually the Lakers, the Bulls, the Celtics, and the Knicks, to me, are like the 4 major, right?
Yeah.
When you think of, I mean, I don't know the starting, but they're the ones.
I'm putting it out there. If the Celtics lose either tonight or tomorrow and don't make it to the next round or lose the next round.
You want to replace one Nick with another Nick, really?
No. I am cool with seeing the Pacers in the East and Oklahoma in the West in the finals.
You really think the Pacers are going to beat the Heat?
They have the ability. It's just whether they harness that. You know what I'm saying?
What's it? Is it the Heat are up 3-2?
Yeah, they're
What is it?
Yeah, they're up 3-2. But you never know. Now, I like seeing teams. Like, I love the Celtics. Don't get me wrong. But I like seeing new teams get further. Or teams that haven't been there in a while. I mean, you haven't seen the Pacers really do that much since Reggie Miller was a player. So
God, don't remind me of that.
the clutch threes. Can I say the clutch threes at the buzzer?
I hate to bring up the Knicks again, but what he did against my Knicks when he literally I don't know what game it was. I think it was in the playoffs. The Knicks were up by like 5, and he hit a 3 and then stole the ball and hit like the game winner. Remember that? I forgot what it was. It was like when the Giants were playing the Vikings in the playoffs. There was like a minute left, and they were up by 10, and they lost. It's just that kind of stuff is ridiculous. When they lose, when they're up by like so much with a minute left and there's seconds left, and they lose. It's just that's the stuff you can't write.
That's the drama of the game.
Yeah, it is the drama of the game. Well, guys, I'm gonna take off.
No, I was just about to sign off.
What are you taking off? This is a family show.
I'm gonna take it all off.
All right. Thanks for all stopping by and our random from, I don't know, how many sports we talked about in 5 minutes?
No, we had soccer, golf, baseball.
I added something with my tuna fish.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks Aaron. Thanks Matt.
15 minutes.
And join us next week. I don't know what I'm doing next week, but it'll be cool. So
It was cool.
Check us out later.
Stanley Cup Finals, right?
Probably. Or golf. You never know. Because golf, you have the U.S. Open and all that coming up. But anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you. See y'all.